はい、日本海賊テレビをご覧の皆様、こんにちは。ニッキー松本です。今回はですね、私実を言うと2日前に歯の手術をしまして、うまく話せません。そういったこともありまして、今回、クロースアップ21世紀の第3回はインタビューと取材を中心にお送りいたします。つい先日、パレスチナのワリー・ロシアム大使にインタビューを刊行しまして、大体40分弱ぐらいのインタビューなんですけども、これを2回に分けて、前半と後半という形に分けて放映したいと思います。実を言いますと、今日は10月の24日なんですが、今私は市川にいます JICA の地球広場に来ておりまして、今日はですね、UNRWAのピエール・クレヘンビュール局長さんになるんですかね、それから清田先生、清田先生には今年の8月の6日でしたけども、ベツレヘムのコンサートにですね、私たちが企画したジャパンステージにも参加していただきました。今日はそれ以来の清田先生との再会ともなります。そんな状況ですので、こちら JICA の地球広場からも取材をお送りいたしますので、今日もよろしくお願いいたします。We have a very, very special guest, Mr. Ambassador from Palestine. How are you, sir?
How are you? Good to see you.
It's been more than a decade that I met you, and it's been my pleasure and honor to know you. So, in general, how do you see, how the life in Japan, how you got in, how you fit into, this very, very country very far away from Palestine?
Well, first and foremost, thank you for interviewing me. Our friendship has lasted for a long time.
Yes.
Not only because of the hard work also. And my pleasure is mine.
Yes.
Second, living in Japan, as you well know, that mostly all the world look at Japan as a different planet and a different world.
Right.
And I fell in love with Japan in my first visit in 1995.
Right.
Actually, and then I was lucky enough to be assigned to come to Japan later on. And life in Japan is special.
Very special.
Special, very special. Especially not only for the visitors that come to Japan, but also for diplomats.
Yes.
The life of diplomats in Japan is really unique.
Yes.
Comparing to other countries.
Yes.
And by that unique, what I mean is, it is a lot of hard work, and the Japanese people are very friendly and open, and the government of Japan is very friendly and open to all the diplomats and well treated. So from that point of view, you can say it's very special.
Yes.
And then visiting parts of Japan also, it makes it more special.
Yes. Well, how did you feel in when you were? Well, you said that you fell in love when you visited here back in 1995. But after living here, you have the whole family has moved to Tokyo.
Sure.
How did you feel in?
No, on the contrary, Japan is like a second country right now. My child was born here and is raised here, and my kids always feel that Japan is part of their home in a way, because when we go out, they say, when we're coming back. And Japan for us is very safe, it's very clean, it's very livelihood here, and it's a great opportunity for Palestinians actually to be able to communicate with Japanese on all levels, not only the governmental level, but also the grassroots and the regular people's level. And that's where we feel more at home when you are with the people, Japanese people, because they have a special feeling towards Palestine and towards the Palestinians and towards that the Palestinians are under occupation, military occupation.
Right.
So we are well treated here and well welcomed, and we love it here.
Very good, very good. And you just mentioned the occupation. Of course, we were talking about Israel. Can you just briefly speak about that? 5 minutes?
Well, the history in brief is very complicated, to say the least. But by saying that the Palestinians have been occupied for a long, long time, through centuries.
Right.
Palestine geographically, it connects Africa, connects to Europe, and connects Asia. So geographically, politically, and economically, it's a very important area. Second, after the independence or so-called independence of Israel, which take over the Palestine, many Palestinians were forced out of their homes in 1947-48 as refugees around the world, and we were the largest refugees in the 20th century and the 21st century. And there were refugees, Palestinians. We are now total about 6 million refugees outside, approximately 5.5 million living on the land in Palestine. But still, Gaza and the West Bank, we went with the Israelis, we fought with the Israelis many years. And also the Arab countries, Egypt, Syria went into war, also in Jordan. But at the end, we all decided that peace is the only way for a solution. And we went into what they call the Oslo Agreement, peace agreement, that we signed in 1993, that in 1999 we will have our own independence on 22% of the land. We have compromised with Israelis that the whole land of Palestine is called the Canaan land. And we are originally from Canaan. And we have compromised that 78% of the land will be for the state of Israel, and 22% will be the state of Palestine. And then we recognize the rights of the state of Israel, but they have not recognized the state of Palestine. And until today, from 1993 until 94 until 2016, we have lost more land from the 22% for the illegal settlements and the occupation, but still Gaza and West Bank are still under Israeli military occupation.
Well, we Japanese feel very bad about that. Japan was an island, so we had very few attacks from other countries. We had in the past, but not really seriously. So it's for us, we can imagine how difficult it is to keep your country in such a region. So there are some supporters among us Japanese people. I feel it's not enough. The number of the supporters in Japan for Palestine is not really enough, but we are trying to increase. So we have the event called Peace Walk 2016. It's going to happen next month, 13th of November. And we will promote, through this video, through website. We have the government of Japan has been actually good to your country, but have they recognized the state of Palestine yet?
Well, as you well know, the Japan government and people as a whole have been a great supporter of the Palestinians through the years, not only from 1994, which is the start of the Oslo Agreement, but also in the 1950s. Japan was the first countries to give to UNRWA, which is for the Palestinian refugees. So it continued through all these years in the 50s and the 60s, when Japan was still standing on its feet. As for political things, Japan has voted for the recognition of the state of Palestine in the United Nations, but has not recognized it officially. Actually, we have over 136 countries that has, including China, Russia, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, those countries in the surroundings have recognized the state of Palestine, plus South America. But unfortunately, Japan has officially not recognized the state of Palestine.
Do you think there's any reason behind that? Because a lot of people in Japan think, well, Palestine is a country now, because we hear the news from the region. What's dragging?
Well, it is a country. I mean, we are by the United Nations and its members, most of the members, and Japan has recognized that there is a state of Palestine with the defined borders of 1967 borders, and East Jerusalem as the capital. And I think it takes more time for some countries to do the political bureaucracy in Japan to recognize the state of Palestine. But on the official visits of, like my president this year, he was received as a head of state. So I think Japanese government is on its path, on the right path of recognizing the state of Palestine. We hope that it will be very soon.
Right.
That way they will recognize that.
Yeah, I think so. We just need to push a little bit. So I see the banner right here. It says Palestina 国家承認 campaign. So that's what we're talking about. We need to recognize the state as a state of Palestine.
Well, usually in democracies, the people's voice is very strong. That's why we encourage the Japanese people to sign a petition and send it to the Diet, requesting the Diet members to vote on recognizing the state of Palestine. I think this is one of the steps of bureaucracy and democracy in Japan. And so we have started a campaign of recognize the state of Palestine, but it's for the people of Japan. It's for the Japanese people to help us, support us in trying to enforce that on the Diet, to take it into the discussion, and maybe the Diet will agree on the recognition of Palestine, and that will pave the way for the government of Japan, be easier for it to recognize the state of Palestine, because it's not the government that took the decision, it's the people and the representation of the people in the Diet, upper house and lower house, and then the government has to obey what the people are saying. So the force of the people and the voice of the people, of the Japanese people, is so important for us for their support.
Well, the people who are watching this, we have the power, we have the tool to change. So let's vote. Let's do the petition. As this recognized Palestine campaign is still going on, so we need your help. We need your signature, your petition, to recognize the state of Palestine by the Japanese government. Let's do this.
Yeah, I don't see the problem for any Japanese writing his name and his address or whatever, because that is the right of every Japanese citizenship to do so. And there's so many petitions in Japan that people have written against the nuclear, against the armament or whatever. And I think this petition is completely different in such a substance, because it helps to free the people of Palestine from a military occupation, which is not only the responsibility of the Japanese people, but it's a responsibility of the people that live in any democracy in this world, is to stop the tyranny of occupation, of any military occupation.
It is really important for Japanese to learn about this and feel responsible. Yes, we are responsible for this. And I have been to Palestine 7 times now, and I've seen the reality there. There's a frustration, every time, because last year, I came up with a CD, came up with the songs after meeting Prime Minister of Palestine, I should say President actually, Mr. Abbas, that influenced me to write music, write songs to cheer up Palestine. But last year, it seems like the relationship between Israel and Palestine has gone sour again. How do you see the current situation? This is 2016, the fall of it.
Basically, Israelis are not the enemies of the Palestinians. And basically, I don't consider Israel or the Israelis are my enemy. On the contrary, they are my neighbors. We share the same land. And we have to learn how to coexist with each other, even if we each have different ideologies, and even if we have different political parties in there. So I think basically the Japanese people have to understand that Israel is not the enemy of Palestine, and Palestinians are not the enemy of Israel. Those two, Palestinians and Israelis, live on a piece of land that has been divided into 2 parts, and they have to coexist with each other. Yeah, nowadays, there are problems on both sides. I mean, first, because you have to understand that Israel is an occupying force. Second, it has one of the most strongest armies in the Middle East, not in the world. Even Japan is labeled number 10 as the most strong army in the world. I think Israel is number 11 power, nuclear power. They have nuclear arms, they have weapons of mass destruction, have the best air force, navy. And the Palestinian side, there's no army, there's no navy, there's no weapons of mass destruction. So to equate the Palestinians and the Israelis to say they're both equal. Yeah, we are both equal on the land because we share the land. But the Israelis are the more powerful one and they're occupying the Palestinians. So those are the occupiers, we are the occupying. We are the victims, those are the victimizers. And I think we are indifferent with each other in many ways, but at the end, Israel has to recognize, and the Israelis have to recognize the following, that we recognize the right of Israel to exist. They have to recognize the right of the Palestinians to exist. And then after they recognize that, then there will be a mutual recognition of the state of Israel and the state of Palestine. And that will be because we share the same land. I mean, they cannot get rid of us. We cannot get rid of them. So the fact is, and the reality is, we have to coexist.
Right.
But then they have now a government in power that doesn't believe of sharing this land, and this government is really, you can say, hardliner government, and it has committed many obstacles to peace. And we hope that the international community, on the pressure of the international community, including Japan, to pressure the occupier to leave the occupation and to leave the occupied territories.
Well, Bob Dylan just, he just received Nobel, not just Peace Prize, but literature prize, and that was kind of surprising. But back in 1983, he wrote a song called "Neighborhood Bully." He's talking about Israel.
Yes.
You see, he's a Jewish American.
Yeah.
He's in mutual position. He never really criticized Israel, but he's been to Israel.
Yeah.
He's seen the situation there. Neighborhood Bully is, what he called it. I think that was a very appropriate title.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
There is realities and facts, and nobody can hide that. The Israelis are occupying the Palestinians. I mean, any human being, any citizen of this world that visit the occupied land, first of all, they will see there's a wall, 700 kilometers that separate us from them. You will see the checkpoints on our land, not on their land. And you can see the military, the Israeli military on our land, not on their land. You can see this wall that has cut through our land, has cut through our land, not their land. So it's obvious for everybody that they are occupying. Now Israel claims this occupation is because of security. And that is a myth. There will be no security without peace.
Right.
You cannot say that I am staying there occupying these people because of security. And the second myth is that Israel is the victim of terrorism. Israel, as I said, is labeled the 11th most powerful country in the world. Army, weapons of mass destruction, Air Force, Navy, and all that. So Israel is the most powerful country in the Middle East, even more powerful than Iran, in that area of the whole region, and it plays that it's a victim.
Right.
But on the contrary, we are the victim and they are the victimizer.
Right. Yeah.
So I think Bob Dylan has the right idea, because when he goes, or anybody he goes, he will see the reality.
Right.
And nobody can, hide that reality, in fact.
To be a Palestine refugee today in Gaza means to be continuously exposed to the effects of an illegal blockade. That means that there is no freedom of movement, there are almost no job opportunities, and young children have experienced 3 wars in their young lives over recent years.
ですが、もし皆様方がガザにいるとすればですね、心の中に残っているのはずっと戦場が続いていること、それから不法な封鎖が続いていること、それによって経済が崩壊して、社会が崩壊して、過去10年の間に戦争も3回起こった、そういう状態です。
To be a young Palestine refugee, or to be a Palestine refugee in the West Bank today, means to be daily exposed to the incursions of Israeli defense forces, to be exposed to restrictions of freedom of movement, the demolition of one's homes, and the lack of prospects in general in one's life.
もし皆様方がですね、ヨルダン川西岸のもう一つのパレスチナの方にいるとすればですね、皆様方の記憶に残っているのはイスラエル兵が、家に来たりとかですね、移動の自由がなかったりとか、占領がどんどん続いていること、将来がないということ、希望がないということ。
To be a Palestine refugee today in Syria means being another generation of Palestinians to experience the trauma of displacement, loss of livelihoods, loss of home, sometimes loss of relatives and friends and neighbors.
もし皆様方がシリアにいるとすればですね、シリアのパレスチナ難民っていうのは昔の難民ですが、今回も非常に苦しい思いをして、いろんな犠牲があってですね、そこもまた社会が崩壊して家族が亡くなったりとか、危険を感じたりとか、そういうことです。
So we have to remember, and for me this is very important when we talk about refugees, I have never met in my life a refugee who wanted to be a refugee, and certainly not a refugee who wanted to stay a refugee, and certainly not for generations, as the case in Palestine.
ぜひ覚えていただきたいんですけども、もし私が難民だとしたら、あるいはこの中に誰にもですね、自分で難民になりたいと思う人はいないし、自分で難民だったら一生難民に続けたいという人もいないし、それからそういう状態が全く選択の余地もなく今までずっと続いているということがパレスチナ難民の現状です。はい、ということで、今日はですね、市川にある JICA の地球広場、JICA 地球広場設立10周年ということなんですけれども、ここでですね、UNRWA、国連のパレスチナ難民救済機関、そちらの事務局長であるピエール・クレヘンビュール様、それから清田先生と再会しまして、こちらで取材もしたんですけども、今回のクロースアップ21世紀、パレスチナ大使のインタビューをお送りしました。全部で40分ぐらいのインタビューでしたので、今回はパレスチナのこと、イスラエル問題、そういったことについて語っていただきましたけども、次回後半はですね、パレスチナ大使の中東全域の問題、ISIS についても語ってくれています。それは次回のクロースアップ21世紀、また楽しみにしていてください。